November 18, 1944, Guebling, France. Staff Sergeant Edward Donald's Sherman tank leads 4 other tanks toward the French town of Guebling. His mission: clear German forces from the town, secure it for advancing infantry. Standard armor operation: 5 tanks, coordinated attack, overwhelming firepower. German anti-tank guns open fire from concealed positions. The first Sherman explodes, direct hit to the ammunition storage, catastrophic kill. The crew doesn't escape. The second tank is hit in the tracks, immobilized. The crew bails out under machine gun fire. 2 tankers fall before reaching cover. Donald's tank and the remaining 2 press forward. German fire intensifies. A Panzerfaust, German infantry anti-tank rocket, hits the 3rd Sherman. The tank burns. The crew evacuates, dragging wounded. The 4th tank takes multiple hits, loses engine power, rolls to a stop. In 3 minutes, Donald's platoon of 5 tanks is reduced to 1 functional vehicle, his. The logical tactical decision is retreat. 1 tank cannot assault a fortified town. Donald needs to pull back, report the German positions, wait for artillery and infantry support. That's standard armor doctrine. Don't waste tanks on impossible missions. Donald looks at Guebling. German soldiers are repositioning anti-tank guns, setting up new firing positions, preparing to engage American infantry advancing behind the tank platoon. If Donald retreats, those infantry will walk into a kill zone. He decides to attack alone. Donald radios his situation to Battalion. "Platoon destroyed, proceeding with mission." Battalion commander tells him to fall back. Donald acknowledges the order, then ignores it. He drives his Sherman toward Guebling at full speed, 25 miles per hour, as fast as the tank can move. German anti-tank guns fire. Donald's driver maneuvers, zigzagging to avoid being an easy target. Shells impact around the tank, near misses that would be fatal hits if the Sherman wasn't moving. Donald reaches the town's edge. German infantry fire Panzerfausts from buildings. The rockets detonate against the Sherman's armor, glancing hits that don't penetrate but damage external equipment. Donald's gunner fires the 75mm main gun into buildings where Germans are positioned. The high explosive shells demolish structures, suppressing enemy fire. For the next 3 hours, Donald fights through Guebling alone. 1 tank against an entire German defensive position. He destroys machine gun nests, eliminates anti-tank positions, drives German infantry out of fortified buildings. By nightfall, Donald has captured Guebling, alone, in 1 tank, against entrenched German forces with anti-tank weapons. Then the Germans counterattack. Donald holds the town through the night, repelling multiple German attempts to retake it. His ammunition runs low. He's exhausted. His crew is exhausted. The tank is damaged. But he holds. American infantry reaches Guebling the next morning. They find Donald still in his tank, still holding the town he captured single-handedly 12 hours earlier. Donald receives no Medal of Honor, no Distinguished Service Cross. He gets a Bronze Star, a decoration given for meritorious service, the same decoration supply clerks receive for administrative excellence. This is Edward Donald's story, the tank commander who did the impossible and received almost nothing for it. If you want military history about soldiers whose achievements were systematically minimized, subscribe right now. Drop a comment with where you're watching from. Donald's action should be taught at every armor school as an example of tactical audacity. The 761st Tank Battalion, known as the Black Panthers, deploys to France in October 1944. The battalion is segregated. Black enlisted men, mostly white officers, operating M4 Sherman tanks. They're attached to General George Patton's Third Army, providing armored support for infantry operations. The Army created the 761st reluctantly. Military doctrine in 1942 claims armor requires technical sophistication and quick decision-making under stress, capabilities the Army assumes black soldiers lack. The 761st exists to prove or disprove this assumption. They prove it wrong immediately. The battalion enters combat on November 7, 1944, during Third Army operations in eastern France. Their first mission: support infantry assaults against fortified German positions in the Maginot Line extension. The fighting is brutal. German forces defend from concrete bunkers, extensive minefields, and prepared anti-tank positions. American armor must advance across open ground into pre-registered kill zones. The 761st performs exceptionally. They coordinate with infantry, suppress German positions, clear obstacles, and take objectives. Their casualty rates are high. Tanks are destroyed, crews are killed, but they accomplish their missions. Staff Sergeant Edward Donald commands a tank in Company B. He's a 24-year-old from New York, enlisted since 1942, trained in armor operations for 2 years. He's an experienced tank commander by the standards of 1944. Most tankers have months of training, not years. Donald's crew consists of 4 men besides himself: driver, assistant driver/bow gunner, gunner, and loader. They've trained together for months, know each other's capabilities, function as a coordinated team. Tank combat requires this coordination. The commander identifies targets and gives orders. The driver maneuvers the tank. The gunner aims the 75mm main gun. The loader feeds ammunition. The bow gunner operates the hull-mounted machine gun. Each role is essential. Failure in any position means mission failure or death. Donald's crew is good. They execute his orders quickly, maintain their equipment properly, stay calm under fire. This competence keeps them alive through early combat operations when less capable crews are killed. By mid-November 1944, the 761st has been in continuous combat for 2 weeks. They've lost multiple tanks to German anti-tank guns, mines, and mechanical failures. Replacement tanks and crews arrive, but the battalion's strength is depleted. The tempo of operations doesn't slow. Third Army is advancing toward the German border, pushing through fortified French towns where German forces establish defensive positions. The 761st provides armor support for these operations, clearing towns, destroying German positions, enabling infantry advances. On November 18th, Donald's platoon receives orders to clear Guebling, a small French town occupied by German forces. Intelligence reports minimal enemy presence, perhaps a company of infantry, no heavy weapons. The mission appears routine. Intelligence is wrong. Donald's platoon, 5 Sherman tanks, approaches Guebling mid-morning. The town is small, maybe 50 buildings, positioned along a road junction. German forces need to hold it to protect their retreat routes. American forces need to take it to continue advancing. The platoon advances in standard formation. Donald's tank in the lead, 2 tanks echeloned to his right, 2 to his left. They move at moderate speed, fast enough to reduce exposure time, slow enough to maintain formation and engage targets. German anti-tank guns fire from concealed positions at the town's edge. The Germans waited until the American tanks were close, 300 yards, range where German 75mm anti-tank guns can penetrate Sherman armor reliably. The first Sherman explodes immediately. The German round hits the ammunition storage. 96 rounds of 75mm shells, plus machine gun ammunition. The explosion is catastrophic. The tank disintegrates. No crew members escape. This is every tanker's nightmare. The ammunition cook-off that kills the entire crew in seconds. Donald's crew hears the explosion, sees the fireball, knows their friends just died. The second tank is hit in the tracks. The German gunner aimed low, hitting the running gear instead of the hull. The tank stops, immobilized but not destroyed. The crew evacuates following doctrine. Immobilized tanks are sitting targets. German machine guns fire on the escaping crew. 2 tankers fall before reaching cover. The others make it to a ditch and take cover. They're alive, but out of the fight. Donald's tank and the 2 remaining Shermans continue advancing. This is doctrine. When ambushed, advance through the kill zone. Stopping or retreating keeps you under fire longer. The fastest way out is through. A Panzerfaust hits the 3rd tank. The rocket-propelled grenade detonates against the turret, penetrating the armor. The tank burns. The crew evacuates. All escape, but 2 are wounded. They crawl to cover while their tank burns. The 4th tank takes multiple hits from different directions. The Germans have anti-tank guns positioned in a crossfire pattern, covering all approaches. 1 hit penetrates the engine compartment. The tank loses power, rolls to a stop. The crew evacuates successfully, reaching cover without casualties. Donald's tank is alone. 4 tanks destroyed or disabled in 3 minutes. His crew is silent, processing what just happened. Their friends are dead or wounded. Their platoon is gone. They're the only functional tank. This is the story of a tank commander who refused to accept impossible odds and captured a town anyway. If you want military history about tactical audacity in the face of overwhelming opposition, subscribe right now. Drop a comment with where you're watching from. Donald's action defies everything armor doctrine teaches about acceptable risk. Donald radios battalion headquarters. Lead 1 to battalion. Platoon hit. 4 tanks down. Proceeding with mission. Battalion responds immediately. Lead 1. Fall back to rally point. Infantry will clear the town. Donald acknowledges. Roger. Proceeding with mission. The battalion commander repeats the order. Lead 1. You are ordered to withdraw. Donald doesn't respond. He's already moving toward Guebling. Donald's driver, Private James Thompson, understands what they're doing. Attacking a fortified position with 1 tank. It's tactically insane. But Thompson trusts Donald. They've been crew together for 8 months. Donald has kept them alive through 2 weeks of combat. If Donald says attack, they attack. Donald's plan is simple. Move fast, use the town's buildings for cover, eliminate German positions systematically before they can coordinate a response. The Sherman accelerates toward Guebling. At 25 miles per hour, top speed for a Sherman, They're crossing open ground in seconds. German anti-tank guns fire, but struggle to track a fast-moving target at close range. One shell hits the Sherman's front glacis plate, the angled frontal armor. The shell deflects, failing to penetrate. This is why armor is angled. Increase the effective thickness, cause shells to ricochet rather than penetrate. Donald reaches the town's edge. Buildings provide cover, breaking line of sight to German anti-tank positions. The Germans must reposition their guns to engage inside the town. This takes time. Donald uses this time. His gunner, Corporal William Harris, fires the 75mm gun into buildings where Germans are positioned. Each high-explosive shell weighs 15 pounds, impacts at 2,000 feet per second, and demolishes wooden structures completely. German infantry fire Panzerfausts from upper-story windows. These shape-charge warheads can penetrate Sherman armor if they hit squarely. Donald's driver maneuvers constantly, never presenting a stationary target. One Panzerfaust hits the Sherman's side armor at an angle. The warhead detonates but fails to penetrate. The angle reduced the effective penetration. The explosion damages external equipment, antenna, spare track links, tools, but the tank remains functional. Donald's crew works efficiently. Harris identifies targets, aims, fires. The loader, Private Robert Johnson, feeds ammunition, high explosive for buildings, armor-piercing when German vehicles appear. The bow gunner, Private Charles Lee, fires the hull-mounted .30 caliber machine gun at German infantry. For 3 hours, Donald fights through Guebling methodically. He clears each street, destroys each German position, advances building by building. German forces realize they're facing one tank. They organize a coordinated response, multiple Panzerfaust teams attacking simultaneously from different directions. One tank can only engage one target at a time. Multiple simultaneous attacks should overwhelm it. The attack comes from 3 directions. Panzerfaust teams fire from buildings to the left, right, and front. 3 rockets arc toward the Sherman. Donald's driver sees the launches and reacts instantly, reverses hard, backing the tank away from the impacts. 2 rockets miss completely. One hits the front armor plate and detonates. Another deflection, no penetration. Donald's gunner fires at the building where the front attack originated. The 75mm high-explosive shell collapses the structure. The other Panzerfaust teams retreat. They're facing a tank crew that's faster, more aggressive, and more skilled than they expected. By early afternoon, Donald has cleared most of Guebling. German forces withdraw to defensive positions at the town's far edge. They're consolidating for a counterattack, bringing in reinforcements, preparing to retake the town. Donald establishes a defensive position in the town center. His ammunition is depleted, maybe 20 rounds of 75mm left, limited machine gun ammunition. The tank has damage, non-critical systems destroyed, armor pitted and scarred, but still mobile and combat effective. Infantry should be arriving to hold the town. Donald radios Battalion for status. Battalion informs him infantry is delayed. They're engaged with German forces elsewhere. Donald's tank will hold Guebling alone until infantry arrives. Estimated time until infantry support, 12 hours. Night falls. Donald's crew is exhausted. 8 hours of continuous combat, mental and physical strain beyond normal endurance. They can't rest. German forces are preparing to counterattack. The town must be held, or the American advance stalls. Donald positions his tank to cover the most likely German approach routes. He places the Sherman behind rubble, partial cover, but enough to protect against direct fire, while allowing the tank to engage targets. The first German counterattack comes at 2100 hours, 9 p.m. German infantry, approximately company strength, 100-plus soldiers, advance through the town from the north. They move in small groups, using buildings for cover, trying to get close enough to hit the Sherman with Panzerfausts. Donald's crew engages with machine guns. The Sherman has 3 1.30 caliber bow gun, 1.30 caliber coaxial gun mounted with the main gun, and 1.50 caliber gun on the turret top. Donald mans the .50 caliber personally, firing at German infantry. The .50 caliber heavy machine gun is devastating against infantry. The half-inch bullets penetrate walls, destroy cover, suppress enemy movement. German soldiers take casualties and fall back. The attack fails. German forces withdraw, regroup, and try again at midnight. This attack includes Panzerfaust teams, closer coordination, better tactics, more determination. Donald's gunner fires high-explosive shells at concentrations of German infantry. Each explosion kills or wounds multiple soldiers, breaks up their formations, forces them to take cover. The second attack fails. The third attack comes at 0300 hours, 3 a.m. German forces commit additional troops, elements from 2 companies, maybe 200 soldiers, attacking from multiple directions simultaneously. This is the most dangerous attack. Donald's tank can't engage in all directions at once. German soldiers advance from the north, while others approach from the east. The Sherman must choose which threat to engage. Donald engages the northern attack, its closer, more immediate threat. Harris fires the main gun into the advancing Germans. The bow and coaxial machine guns suppress infantry. The .50 caliber on the turret sweeps German positions. The eastern attack reaches within 50 yards before Donald can shift fire. Panzerfaust teams prepare to fire at point-blank range, guaranteed penetration at this distance. Donald's driver reverses the tank rapidly, opening distance. The movement throws off German aim. Panzerfaust rockets miss. Donald's gunner rotates the turret and fires high-explosive shells into the eastern attack. The Germans break and retreat. Both attacks fail. German forces withdraw completely, conceding they cannot retake the town against one determined Sherman tank crew. At 700 hours, 7 a.m., November 19th, American infantry reaches Guebling. They find Donald's tank still in position, still combat effective, holding the town he captured 12 hours earlier. The infantry company commander is shocked. He expected to assault a contested town. Instead, he finds one tank that already captured it and held it through the night against multiple counterattacks. The commander asks Donald how many tanks were involved in the assault. Donald replies, "1. This one." The commander recommends Donald for the Medal of Honor. The recommendation is filed, reviewed, and denied. Donald receives a Bronze Star, the same decoration awarded to supply officers for efficient logistics operations.